I'm Fieke and I'm the team manager of the URE 17 year, so this year at University Racing Eindhoven. University Racing Eindhoven is a student team where we actually build a race car every single year. So in 1 year we built an entire car from scratch to racing. The race car actually performs in Formula Student. So Formula Student is the largest engineering design competition in the world, where more than 700 universities participate. And we race within Europe, so there we usually every year race against more than 200 universities.
I'm Floris. I was a part-time student here to begin with in the URE 13 year, and after that I continued as a student working with the car during the whole year. It's a Formula Student team with races in the season, in like the summer season, where your car needs to be finished, you need to perform. This is different to other maybe student teams where you don't have a strict deadline or a strict event you need to go to.
We built the entire car ourselves, so 95% of the car is designed or produced by our students, which makes it that we actually try to learn as much as possible by actually producing and making and designing the entire car ourselves.
I joined URE because motorsport is my passion, it's in my family, and this student team encaptures it all, like the whole motorsport environment, and that's why I wanted to join.
The motto of URE is educating the engineers of the future. So we actually want to make sure that every student learns as much as possible next to their studies, so they can actually develop themselves and then use those skills when they actually go to work and become a full engineer. The very first car that University Racing Eindhoven built was called FSRTE1, Formula Student Racing Team Eindhoven. And that was the very first car we built, which was combustion and only a chassis and wheels. And that then didn't compete in a competition. The FSRTE2 was the very first car that competed in Formula Student. With that car we actually started racing against other teams, and we actually performed quite well for our very first car. The third car was called URE 3. There we switched names to University Racing Eindhoven, since it's just an easier name, more logical for the team, and it describes the team even better.
I'm Yillis. I'm this year's CFO, and I'm also responsible for the operations and aerodynamics department. The next main milestone was the URE 5E.
We started building an electric powertrain in our already existing combustion car.
We used the chassis of the URE 5 and, well, made it electric.
Which was then fully developed the next year, making it the very first electric race car in the Benelux. We were one of the first teams to actually make an electric race car, but also the competition itself didn't have that many electric race cars yet. It was still quite niche. We there tried to take the first steps to make it bigger and better. So now a lot of cars actually compete in the electric competition.
From there came the URE 9. That's when we had our first aerodynamic package.
For the aerodynamics, it's to create downforce on the car, where you can go through corners even faster. At Formula Student, the aerodynamics is really large because we drive at relatively low speeds, only 120 kilometers the fastest. So there, the aerodynamic devices have to be quite large for them to have an effect.
Afterwards, we implemented four-wheel drive, and later on came the autonomous systems as well.
When I was here, I started to work on the composite structural design for the aerodynamic package. So mainly my focus was on making lightweight parts, but still strong structural integrity. Experience I had here was really my first ever experience with like a high pressure job, and because there's pressure because of the races you need to perform and there are strict deadlines. For example, when we are about to start the race for the first time with our car here at URE, something went wrong with the wing that partly broke off, and there you could see like the whole team came together and we all helped each other, and there was a lot of pressure, but we still got the job done, and we were in time to go to the race, and we did a really good job there. After my year at URE, I applied for my bachelor thesis project at Toyota, and because of my experience here as well, I got the job, I got the project, and after that, I started to work there part-time alongside my master's study. I'm doing my master's for the Eindhoven University of Technology, but we're doing it in cooperation with Toyota Gazoo Racing to study some new composite materials which are going to be used in the future hypercars, or maybe other cars, whatever the future brings. This whole atmosphere during my time here and the pressure you get, this really helped me to perform well now in my job as well.
In the 13th year, we started developing our first autonomous car. So we converted the old car, so the 11th car, into driverless to test our theories.
Thus becoming the first autonomous race car in the Benelux. From there, the URE 14 became the first competitive driverless car.
It was convertible from an electric race car to a driverless race car.
Having competed in Formula Student Italy. And then afterwards came the URE 15, which then won the competition in Spain.
The very best car would be the URE 15, since there we actually won in Spain. We placed second in the Netherlands, and also in Switzerland we performed really well. It
did take 2 years to build, having the COVID-19 crisis right in the middle basically. But in the end it was URE's best product. The URE 15 year, actually in the team we called it URE 15 plus year because it was the second year. That was my first year in the team, and that's what really introduced me to what URE is and what it can be. And so that's what really got me hooked, and seeing that kind of go away, and also seeing all the energy and hours and everything put into that car just kind of disappear on a testing track is, well, that makes quite an impact.
At the last testing day of the season, the car burned down.
The 15 went out for another test after the competition, and on the testing track something went wrong, but it sadly burnt down. We're all together, and then I got a message from URE as every day. But this one started with "Dear team," I remember, and that's different. It sounds serious, and so I opened it, read it, and yeah, I was quite stunned, kind of shocked. I mean, it's motorsport, and there's plenty of risks that come along with it, but these things they come with it, and it pushes you to go further.
Everyone always wanted to perform better and make the next car even better, so to make it faster than the previous car, and of course it came with difficulties.
You always use the car from the previous season at the start. For testing new systems, testing old systems. So they had nothing, but it only pushed them to work harder, and they only became more motivated.
The 16th car actually changed a lot. So they started with a new chassis, so the entire monocoque changed. They used a new powertrain where they went from 400 volts to 600 volts, and they implemented a new driverless concept. The driverless concept is where you can change from self-driving to you driving the car with just the flick of a switch. So you only need to change one bolt, and then the car starts driving itself.
Well, it really showed that URE always tries to think one step ahead. We're always looking for ways to grow and ways to expand, ways to allow our team to work on the newest technology. That's what the team's for.
For this year, we actually are focusing mainly on weight reduction, so making the car even lighter, making sure that it is as light as possible, but also our own inverters, which we are creating. So that's the motor controller that we also want to implement this year. And of course, we want to end up in the top 5 of the competition this year. I, of course, think that the URE 17 will be the best performing car ever.
You're gonna have to wait and see.